Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Atika Syahida binti ISMAIL. I want to explain about my research study, which is relationship between physical activity, participation and health status among Sungai Mati Tangkak resident. This is background of the study. First is independent variable. Physical activity out of everyday life, and this presents a major threat to human health. From Elliot Fishman, Lar Boker, Marco Helbig, 2015. And the dependent variable, health status and healthcare service utilization of population are indispensable indicator to assess the performance of health system in the context of limited health administration data from Beck Xuantran, Long Huang Nguyen, Wong Min Nong and Chong Tan Nguyen, 2016. Next is statement of the problem. The first one is the health problem faced by Malaysian are obesity, heart disease, hypercholesterolемia, high blood pressure, hypertension and diabetes from Ministry of Health Malaysia 2019. Next is physical inactivity is a cause of serious problem for individual health from Frank W. Wolf, Manu V. Chakravarti, Espen E. Spangenberg, 2002. This is the research objective. Based on the research question, in order to completing this research study have developed several research objectives. The first one is to identify the level of physical activity participation among Sungai Mati Tangkak resident. Next is to identify the health status among Sungai Mati Tangkak resident. The last one is to investigate the relationship between physical activity participation and the health status among Sungai Mati Tangkak resident. This is the literature review. The first one is the result revealed that Dutch men and women participate in 24 and 28 minutes of daily physical activity through walking and cycling from Elliot Fishman, Lar Boker, Marco Helbig, 2015. The next one is population levels of physical activity inadequate to meet current guideline can place a health burden on the US population that result in high healthcare expenditures from Carlson, Fulton, Bart, Young, and Adams, 2015. The next one is the result showing that more than 40% of the participants engage in physical activity from 1 to 3 times per week, specifically for light exercise, from Tam Chai Lian, Gregory Bond, Yoh Si Han, Yap Chin Cho, Wong Chi Piao, 2016. The last one is the result of this study provide insight in the time allocation to active domain and total physical activity of older adults, as well as the association with health indicator from Sterling, Albert, Doerwald, and Bamman, 2020. Next is methodology. Research design that been used in this research study are correlation research design, cross-sectional research design, and self-administrated research design. For the correlation research design, correlation analysis is a method of statistical evaluation used to study the strength of a relationship between two numerical measure and the continuous variables, which is IV and DV. This particular type of analysis is useful when a researcher wants to establish if there are possible connections between variables. Next is cross-sectional research design. Cross-sectional is that we take feedback from respondents only based on what they have gone through and finished. It is without them having to answer follow-up question by doing any tests on them. And the last one, self-administrated research design. A self-administrated questionnaire, which is SAQ, refer to a questionnaire that has been designed specifically to be completed by a respondent without intervention of the researcher collecting the data. And an SAQ is usually standalone questionnaire. To it can also be used in conjunction with other data collection modalities directed by a trained interviewer. Traditionally, the SAQ has been distributed by mail or in person to large group, but now SAQ are being used extensively for web survey. Next is sampling. The population are from Sungai Mati Tangkak resident. The inclusion, Sungai Mati Tangkak resident who are 18 years old and above. The exclusion, who are not Sungai Mati Tangkak resident. The number of sample. Sungai Mati Tangkak population are 18,394. So we add on another 20%. It be 22,073. Based on table KJ and Morgan 1970, it be from 20,000 and above. It be the sample size be 377. Sampling technique that be used in this research study is probability sampling, which is simple random. In statistics, a simple random sample is a subset of individuals chosen from a large set, which is in this case study we choose from the Sungai Mati Tangkak resident population. So in which a subset of individual are chosen randomly, all with the same probability. In simple random sample, each subset of individuals has the same probability of being chosen for the sample as any other subset of individuals. This is the instrumentation. The first one is International Physical Activity Questionnaire, and also World Health Organization Quality of Life. This is the instrumentation for my questionnaire for section C and section D. For section C, methods that lead they to do the physical activity. There are 4 items and 4 dimensions. The dimensions are quality of life, physical, psychological, and social. Combat alpha that I got was 0.78. And next, for section D, effect that they felt when they doing the physical activity. There are 4 items and 3 dimensions. The dimension are quality of life, physical, and psychological. The combat alpha was 0.85. This is data collection procedure. First, getting approval by ethics committee. Second, seek approval from head of organization. Third, brief the respondent about the purpose of the study. Fourth, distribute the questionnaire to all respondents. And the last one, collect the questionnaire after they finish answering it. This is data analysis. The research objective number 1, to identify the level of physical activity participation among Sungai Mati Tangkak residents, use descriptive analysis. For research objective number 2, to identify the health status among Sungai Mati Tangkak residents, using descriptive analysis. For the last one, research objective number 3, to investigate the relationship between physical activity participation and the health status among Sungai Mati Tangkak residents using correlation analysis. This is the result for demographic section. For gender, most of my respondent from female, which is 53.3%. For age, from 18 to 30 years old, which is 83.6%. For ethnic, more from Malay, which is 96.8%. For education level, more from diploma level, which is 47.7%. For marital status, most of them single, which is 72.7%. For occupation, more from non-government, which is 41.1%. Also, most of them are students, which is 40.8%. And the last one, for my respondent, which is Sungai Mati Tangkak resident, 75.1% of them have no family history of health problem. Next is result for level of physical activity participation. For frequency of physical activity, most of my respondents, which is 36.6% of them, will do 1 to 3 times per week. The intensity of physical activity performed, most of them, which is 54.4%, will do moderate activity. And on how many types of physical activity are done by them, most of them, which is 33.4%, will do 2 types of physical activity per week. This is the result for health status. 53.8% from my respondents will strongly agree that they feel level of their health was improved. Next is 55.7% of them was agree that they always be motivated to do the physical activity. Next, 68.7% of them strongly agree that they feel freshness of their body increase every time after they doing the physical activity. Next, the last one is 56% of them strongly agree that they feel always fresh and fit to do daily activities after they doing the physical activity. This is the discussion from my result, which is my respondent, most of them, which is from 377 of them, just 13 of them, which is 3.4%, not doing physical activity at all. But most of them, which is 96%, doing the physical activity. And based on Ministry of Health Malaysia 2019, the health problem faced by Malaysians are obesity, heart disease, hypercholesterolemia, high blood pressure, hypertension, and diabetes. And for my respondent, most of them have no family history health problem, which is from 75.1% of them. But for those who have a family history of health problem is more to diabetes, which is 41% over 377 of my respondent. Other than that, 9.9% of them have family history health problem for high blood pressure or hypertension. Other than that, 2.4% have heart attack, and obesity, 2.1%. The last one, 0.5% just have hypercholesterolemia. Based on Tam Chai Lian, Gregory Bond, Yossihan, Yap Chin Cho, Wong Chi Piao, 2016, the results shown that more than 40% of participants engage in physical activity from 1 to 3 times per week, specifically for light exercise. My result for intensity of physical activities performed, 54.4% of them will do moderate intensity. Also, most of them will do low intensity, which is from 41.9% of them. And just 3.7%, which is just 14% of over 40% over 377 my respondent will do high intensity of physical activity. This is my reference using APA 7 format.